As business moves forward, we're all changing the way things get done. Like how we redefine collaboration, how we come up with new ways to serve our customers and deliver our products.
This one is cheddar. It's delicious.
Oh, you look so healthy.
But no matter how things change, one thing never will. You can rely on the people and the network of AT&T to help keep your business connected.
Welcome to Small Business University Online, powered by Small Business Expo, America's biggest business trade show and conference. We want to extend a very special thank you to AT&T Business for supporting small business and being our presenting sponsor. Please be sure to check out our complete webinar schedule and all on-demand recordings from previous webinars on smallbusinessuniversity.online. All of our webinars are free and full of incredible information to help you grow your business. This webinar is being recorded and will be made available within 24 hours on smallbusinessuniversity.online. At this time, we are turning the public chat feature off for the presentation. We will reopen the public chat window closer to the end so that you can post your questions for our presenter to answer during the open Q&A portion. And now, I'm very excited to introduce today's webinar. Please take it away.
Well, hello, guys. I am going to come on in 1 second so you can see my face. I cannot wait. And I just want to make sure that we have a moment of being eye to eye. All right. I just wanted to do that because most of the time you're going to see slides which will take you through this journey. I am Marquessa. I am Zoom Queen, and I want to teach you, encourage you, inspire you even to Zoom to income. So good morning or afternoon, wherever you are. I'm so glad you are hanging out with me for a little less than an hour. Okay. So first things first, the chat is open. I've asked our mega producer, Stephen B, to leave it open. So please put in the chat room, why are you here? Why do you want to Zoom to income? Just curious. I mean, of course, Marquez, I want to make money, but I'd love to know kind of why you want to Zoom to income. There's different ways of making money. Now, frankly, in our pandemic times, and this is my opinion, the best way to make money is to Zoom to it. But I want to know what brought you here. There's so many choices, so many things you could be doing with your time, but why are you here? So let me know, Teresa and Valerie, Jay and Jakawa. And if I said your name wrong, I'm so sorry. And let me know in the chat room. Wanda, good to see you here. What brought you here? So while you're doing that, I'm going to pull up my slides so that I can stay focused with this time because I could talk to y'all all day long. So today it's all about Zooming to income. And in my opinion, in order for you to do that, you need to Zoom like a boss. And I'm going to break that down for you. So I want to give kudos to those of you that are talking to me in chat. So Teresa says, I need to learn more about the subject. So Teresa, I'm hearing you want to know how to Zoom. Wanda's saying great day to everyone. And she also says, I have so much that I want to do and I want to level up. That's what I want to hear. And then Valerie J is saying, I want to inspire people during this tough time. I've been virtually hosting for about 6 months. Congratulations, Valerie. And I love that you want to inspire. And guys, Valerie has the right mindset. When you're here, this is a virtual stage. I don't know if you know this. This is a virtual stage. It's a virtual classroom. It's a virtual office. It's a virtual studio. And I can go on and on and on. It's even a virtual follow-up system. And I'm going to go through some of those. So do what you want. Think of it this way. Stop thinking to yourself, oh, well, I'm far away and I'm on a tool and I can only stop thinking in those terms. Instead, look at this as your way of communicating smarter and still staying connected to the person you want to help the most. All right. Zalonia says, I am finding myself having to be more creative with my business. Well, Zoom is going to give you that. And Veronica says, I want to be able to work all at any time from anywhere. She is so speaking my language, guys. And Jakawa says, I'm looking to innovate myself with business growth ideas. You guys got it. You got it. So first of all, I know some of you are wondering, Marquesa, we got X, Y, Z, all of these different platforms. Why Zoom? Well, can I give you a little sneak peek? I'm Zoom Queen. And I'll give you a little bit of my background in a bit, but I can tell you Zoom is a constant evolution. Every time you turn around, they are figuring out yet another way to help us connect, be productive, grow, inspire, and just think differently, right? And here are some examples of what's happening in Zoom world, okay? For example, I don't even think I have it on this list. You know, you can I do have it on the list. It's number 11. You can do a makeover on Zoom. And I don't mean literally a tutorial, but Zoom helps you out where if you're having one of those days where you're working from home and you're thinking, I really don't want to go through the whole makeup process. We've all been there. Zoom has brows for you. You know, it has lipstick for you. Have you ever got to your computer and forgot to put on your lipstick? Or you're thinking the lighting isn't great. Where's the lighting? Which light should I buy? There is lighting on Zoom. You just click something in the settings and vamoose, you're lit up. All right. There are different filters in order for you to give that experience that you want to put out there. If you want to know the main ingredient, the most important ingredient when it comes to Zooming, guys, it's delivering an experience. Do you hear me? It's making that decision when individuals come on, this is what I want them to experience. And you can use filters and appearance tools and all these different things to make it happen. That's what I love about Zoom. Also, we have breakout rooms. Did you know that? So when you go to a conference, right, usually is where they have breakouts. And now after the general session, there's a chance for us to go into breakout rooms. Well, what I love about Zoom, I can also give that same experience to my audience. As a business coach, as a person that meets with my members every Tuesday. So I'm going to meet with them today at 4 p.m. Eastern, and I'm going to meet with them today at 7 p.m. Eastern. I'm doing a program now called Marketing Like a Boss. So I'm helping all of these extremely successful individuals market smarter based on their personality. Well, while I'm there, I want to make sure that when they come on, they got some time to just discuss things with each other, break down strategies. So I break them out into groups. And then as the expert and the host, I jump around to the individual sessions. And then I also have an extension of myself, which is another coach who sits in a breakout room. So I'll send people to her depending on their needs. Is that cool or what? And then to take it a step further, Zoom has what's called self-select breakout rooms. You know what I mean by that? Self-select means if I decided I want a breakout room for individuals just to focus on your marketing strategy. Like, what's your marketing strategy? And I've laid those choices out for them. Okay, based on your marketing strategies, what are your priorities? That's in another room. Based on your marketing priorities and strategies, what are your daily actions? That's in another room, and so on and so forth. So depending on what each person needs at the moment, I can literally click a button and then all of the rooms show up. And then my members can move in and out at will. Is that crazy? So I have to make a decision. Do I want this an at will type of breakout situation, or do I want to move them into a specific place? Again, I like the choice of that. How does that sound so far? Do you see where I'm going? So the possibilities are endless. And the good news is I happen to be on Zoom's new platform. Are you ready for it? On Zoom. Yes. Zoom, guys, has their own YouTube, if that makes any sense. They have their own platform. It launched about a month ago. You can get on Zoom. When you go there, how do you get to on Zoom? I believe it's ON. Just Google on Zoom, on like ON and then Zoom, and you'll see it. Write it down. And guys, do me a favor. If it's something that you're planning on doing, something that I've trained all my virtual audiences to do, put in the chat room an A, and then and that stands for action. Put the action you're going to take based on what you hear me say. And this is a good way for you to go back at the end of this and say, these are all the actions that I promised Marquesa that I'm going to take. So when I get off this call, I'm going to take action. Because can you just put in the chat room, are you here just to stare at me? Or are you here to take some action? So just put in the chat room, A, if you're here to take some action. Thank you so much, Veronica, Valerie, Martha, you're here to take action. So put in the chat room what that action is, okay? Thank you, Veronica. So go and look at OnZoom. You can apply to be a host on their platform. And this is a fabulous way for your Zooms to go bigger than you. Is that cool or what? So anyway, I'm on Zoom. Although I have to warn you, I'm still a learning process. I'm on Zoom every Monday. To the end of the year, from 5 to 5:30 Eastern, where I'm sharing another Zoom feature. That's it, just one feature at a time. Yesterday I broke down transcription. Yeah, I said it. You can do transcription on Zoom, y'all, but I don't want to get ahead of myself. Yes, so I broke down the importance of transcription, how you can use it in your meetings, live, everything. I went to the back end. Everyone just fell all over themselves. They're like, I didn't know you could do that. So again, write that down. You're going to go to OnZoom, check it out. And when you go to follow me, just click Zoom Queen and you can follow me that way. That's one way to follow me on that platform and then submit on being a host. So good job. Good job. So guys, again, I just wanted you to see the possibilities on this page. So now here we go. Let me take you on the journey of Zooming to income. First things first, let's address the elephant in the room. Is this the new normal? Is this the way that we got to show up these days? Well, for some of us it is. For me, I've been Zooming for years. Guys, I've been Zooming since Zoom launched, right? But for majority of the world, it's a new reality. And yeah, even Zoom Queen, I've had to adjust to some new things. I can't go out as much as I used to. I gained some pounds and I don't want to talk about, so everyone has some kind of way of where things are new. But I want you to approach this from a perspective of, I don't want you to approach it from the perspective of, I've got to learn all this stuff. Instead, I'd like you to approach it from the perspective of, I have my own business and I want to save time, make money, and help more people. Save time, make more money, help more people. Can you tell me which one of those resonate with you guys? Save time, make more money, help people. So if you look at this as your new normal, even when things start to shift, you're going to work smarter instead of harder. I give you a perfect example. I live in New York City and I'm a professional speaker. So often, pre-pandemic, I was on the plane once or twice a month, something of like that. But when I was home, I was working from my home office. And I remember my colleagues and clients at times would call me and say, hey, girl, come out. Let's meet in Midtown. Let's meet uptown. You want to have lunch? You want to have coffee? And I've been in business 15 years full time. And I remember early on, I was like, yeah, because I'm a people person. I couldn't wait to get out of here. Of course, I'm going to meet you. The problem was I would get out and then I would get up and get dressed, get on the subway. If it's cold, you know what I'm saying? If it's hot, same thing. Anyway, and then so I would get on the subway. I would go to a restaurant, talk with my friend, and then come all the way back here. And I really didn't have the energy to get back into work. Am I the only person? After a wonderful, big, huge lunch, you're going to come back to the office and let me meet you. I wasn't as productive as I was if I stayed in my office and maybe did those activities afterwards, right? But then you don't always want to go out in an evening because I do got evening shows, right? But guess what I started to do? I decided, hey, Lisa or Ann or Diane, whoever my friend was, I would say to them, we can still have lunch, but why don't we do it virtually? They go, huh? Meet me on Zoom. And I would get them on Zoom and we would have lunch. And then I realized, wait a minute, I can have lunch with my clients. I can have lunch with a group of my clients. So it became my way of life. I found myself, let me take a sip here. I found myself using Zoom as an office. I found myself using it as a studio. It became everything. So the purpose of this particular slide as I speak to you is let Zoom become your new normal because it will take your life to the next level. Guys, this is not just a meetings platform. Now you're probably here going, I like all that, Marquesa, I get it. But client acquisition is a priority for me. I'm on Zoom, I'm doing my thing, but I'm not quite closing clients the way I'd like to. Is anyone like that? Anyone prepared to be real right now? If client acquisition is a priority, just put P in the chat room and then just put beside it CA for client acquisition. So P for priority, client acquisition, or if maybe I said something earlier that's more of a priority. Maybe your priority is request. I just want to save time. I got clients, but I feel like I can't keep up with myself. I'm overwhelmed all the time. So that may be your priority. So let me know. Wow. So I'm getting a lot of CAs. Yep. Client acquisition. So the cool thing is, guys, I'm not only going to talk about Zoom and how to level up with Zoom, but I'm also going to talk about how to close business on Zoom. How do you like that? So we're going to keep this going. First of all, when it comes to anything, y'all, but especially Zoom, you got to be strategic. Y'all remember Monopoly? Does any Monopoly folks on here? I remember playing Monopoly as a young girl, and I was a champion. Yeah, I call myself champion. I beat a few people. But here's the deal with Monopoly. You can either play it all day long and be so exhausted you can't even enjoy your win, or you can be strategic and knock your partner out in a very nice way, but knock your partner out in 2 hours or less. Are you with me? I learned as a young girl that in order to close this game and make it shorter, I needed to play it a different way. And how did I do that? Instead of buying up all this property and then putting houses on all this property, and then it taking forever for me to bankrupt the other partner if they didn't bankrupt me, instead, I decided, and guys, I'm telling y'all a secret, I decided instead to focus on one corner. So I would focus on the green and the yellow corner, but not just one corner. I would go to the catty corner. So the opposite corner. So the opposite corner from there, I believe, and it's been a minute, are I can't remember which is it's the blue and the purple ones, whatever. That's the catty corner of it. So what I would do is I would ignore the railroads, ignore utilities, ignore boardwalk. I sure did. I ignored all of that, and I paid attention to these, and I did not let my opponent know. Because of course my opponent was saying, oh, she's trying to get that corner, but they had no idea that I was trying to get an opposite corner because I kept myself quiet. Right? And then I would build houses, Baltic Avenue, right? Then I would build houses and hotels on all of that, and I would knock my opponent out. That's the way you got to approach Zoom. Don't just get on it and start a meeting. Be strategic about how you're going to use it. Begin with the end in mind. Who said that? 7 habits of highly effective people, right? You want to make sure that you think about, how is my day going to go? How do I want to use my day? For example, I have certain days, guys, usually on Thursdays, where I'm meeting with my clients. I'm doing powerful coaching sessions, usually on Thursdays. I do not take coaching sessions on Mondays, Tuesdays, Wednesdays, or Fridays. And if I take it on a Monday, it's usually a Zoom production. I have a Zoom support studio that I run under my business. I will meet with those clients sometimes on Mondays because that's usually when I'm working with my Zoom support studio team. But other than that, coaching itself is on Thursdays because I want to use Zoom a certain type of way. I want to make sure that I meet with that client. It's recorded, so everything is scheduled through Zoom. Yes, everything is scheduled. Zoom talks to any calendar software out there. You hear me? So I use Book Like a Boss as my calendar software, and then literally it talks to it. So all of my folks, and sometimes it's not back to back, sometimes it's maybe 1 an hour, right? And they'll come right on Zoom. And then immediately I give them recording privileges by clicking those 3 dots above their head. That way Zoom follows up with them, and I don't have to follow up with them right away. Because have you ever been on a Zoom and someone say, give me that recording? And if I have several sessions in a row, I don't have time to worry about getting you a recording. So instead, what I do is give them recording privileges, and then I record the cloud version. So I don't want to get too tech with you. But again, every move I make on Zoom leads to more business, which leads to more income, more time, more productivity. So stay with me. So again, it's about being strategic. So here's another example. Does anyone have a podcast with no listeners or results? Just wondering. Does anyone have a book with no buyers or results? Does anyone have an empty opportunity calendar? In other words, you're like, I need some opportunity. Does anyone have sales but very limited? Does anyone do social media marketing and you're just exhausted and confused and a little pissed off because you're not getting the results you want, right? Does anyone try technology, whether it's Zoom or something else, and you feel frustrated and overwhelmed? Put in that chat room. Remember, we're being transparent here. And just so you know, the chat room doesn't go in the recording. I'm sure Stephen can confirm that as our producer. So this is your chance to keep it real and say, yes, I am one of those. Zoom can change all of this. Did you hear me? Zoom can change it all. Thank you, Valerie. So Valerie says, I have a podcast with few listeners. Valerie, here's one way you can up that. One way you can up that is decide, you know what, I'm not just going to do a podcast and use podcast software. I'm also going to back myself up by using a video on Zoom. And that way, and I'm going to make sure that it's transcribed and the transcription will turn into show notes. You hear me? So that was a lot. So again, usually people will record their podcast on some type of podcast software. Well, in addition to that, why not, or in place of that, why not record it on Zoom with the video? And why not put the video version on your site or on your YouTube, giving your podcast listeners another way to engage with you? Do you hear me? That's the power of Zoom. And because how many times do you listen to a podcast and you're like, oh my gosh, that was good. That was good. That was good. I didn't get that. I love when the podcaster can say to me, just in case you missed something, it's in the show notes. Oh, and guess what? When you go get the show notes, there's a Zoom link or there's a recording underneath it where you get to see my face. And I did an extra video to give you a few more tips if you want to know how to do this. Because I'm sorry, are you on the podcast just because you want people to hear your voice, or are you on there to grow your business? Right? So again, this is how Zoom can help. What about a book? I got a book requested, but no buyers. Marketing, again, can be done on the Zoom platform. All right. You can literally say, hey guys, let me give, instead of running over to Barnes and Nobles, which I don't think you can do that these days, instead of running over here or doing a book release this and doing that, you can do all of that on Zoom. One of my clients, guys, literally wrote a book virtually on Zoom. And then her audience told her what they liked. They helped her name the book. They helped her figure out what to put where. So she had a guaranteed buyer base right there on Zoom. You hear me? So I can go on and on and on. But Zoom makes all of this so much easier if you use it strategically. I know this is you right here. This was once me, where you're like, oh, Marquessa, there's so many different directions to go. There's WebEx, there's, GoToWebinar, there's all these different, there's Facebook Live, there's all these different places I can go. Who can relate to this map? I hear you. There's a lot of different directions to go, but can I calm you down right now? Let me just take a breath. One thing I don't know is yoga, so take a breath, right? Right? Well, guess what? I have something good to tell you. Just focus on Zoom. There's no need to master any other platform. You notice I didn't say learn. At times you do have to learn another platform. I'm on a different platform right here in order to be with you, but I had to learn a little bit. But I haven't mastered the platform. Thank goodness I have Stephen P. as my producer here to deal with all that for me, right? But guess what? I have mastered Zoom. And it's taken a number of years. But what made me different when I started with Zoom almost 9 years ago when it launched was that I stuck with it. And I said, wait a minute, let me try this, because you will find accidental things. As you're working on one thing, you'll say, I didn't know I could do that. Get out of here. Or somebody will say, tell you something that you didn't realize you could do. All right. So stick with it. So do I have your commitment, at least for the meantime? Pamela, Becky, Jacqua, Becky, and whoever else is on here. Do I have your commitment to, if you like this and if you feel this particular platform, you will stick with it? All right. That's going to make all the difference in the world, guys. I don't want you to think that I always have the answers. As I said before, I've been in business 15 years. And you may wonder, well, what made you, I know you're familiar with other platforms. What made you stick with Zoom early on? And years ago, when because I live in New York. I didn't move to New York because I wanted to. I'm a Dallas, Texas native, but I moved to New York right out of college to work in business news. I worked for CNN as an associate producer on Managing with Lou Dobbs, right? So then I did that for about 3.5 to 4 years, realized I didn't like news. Yeah, that was interesting to learn at that early age, but hey, that's part of growing up. Then I left there and worked in corporate America for almost a decade, AT&T Business Markets. So that's how I know about sales, guys, because that was my job. I closed clients left and right, became the top dog in New York City in business markets for AT&T Business Markets. So I get the whole closing the deal, making sales. So that's why I'm able to talk about this, because that is a strong part of my background. And frankly, I would not have lasted in business for 15 years if I didn't master that piece in corporate America. So anyway, fast forward, I got downsized. I don't know if anybody's ever been downsized, but I got downsized in 2004. And I said, oh my gosh, what's next for me? And then I remember while I was in corporate America, I would do presentations all the time. I would MC our National Professional Development Conference. And I said, I want to be a speaker. I don't know what it means. I don't know how to do it. I want to get paid for it, though. So then I talked to different people in my circles and learned about seminar companies, and they hired me and sent me all over the country to speak. And as glamorous as that sound, it was anything but. And I loved every single audience member I had, but it came at a cost. And the cost was, your girl got real big. I gained a lot of weight because I was speaking, and then I had to drive from one city to the next, from one city to the next. And my life wasn't my own because we would travel from city to city 4 to 5 days a week. So I love what I was doing to a certain degree, but my lifestyle was completely out the window. I only had time to eat and sleep, and I barely had time to do that. So I got pretty large, and I remember thinking, oh my goodness, and guys, I was overweight for years, and I wasn't overweight when I was younger. I did not have a weight issue, but when I got on the road and started speaking, I got really big. Then I decided while on the road, about 3.5 years in, I can't do this forever. I'm miserable. Can't even stand to look in the mirror. Every time I get up in front of an audience, I'm worried about what they think, la, 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 all that internal dialogue. Fast forward, before I knew it, I decided, okay, I got to do something different. I've got to meet the online world. I got to figure out how I can do things on my own terms. I love this company that I'm speaking for, but it's not my forever because it requires me to be on the road every single day. So I started to work with clients virtually. Now, at this time, Zoom did not exist. So I started working with other platforms. I started to build my email list so people would even know how to find me. I started to show up on social media and just create a tribe and build relationships and friends. And then I got a coach to really learn how to master this stuff, guys. And that's when it all started for me. And literally it changed my life because then I was able within 3.5 years, after starting literally about a year later, I said bye to the seminar companies and I said, I'm still speaking, but I'm doing it on my terms. So literally working virtually changed my life. Are you with me? So that's why, and this may not be your story, but I want you to see how deep this goes because I decided I don't want to have to make money. I don't want to have to be on a plane to make money. You hear me? I have a gift of speaking and there's certain things I speak about, and I don't want to have to get on a plane and be live in front of an audience to make that happen. That was my philosophy. So I wanted to learn whatever technology I could do to make that happen. And again, that's where speaking and talking and working virtually came in. So I wanted you guys to see that, thank you so much, Pamela, that I don't know what your story is, but I guarantee you that mastering Zoom can only make your story better. All right. And now, my goodness, this was an award ceremony that I did for a major company. Not only was the MC, but did the Zoom production on the back end. Anything is possible when it comes to this world. OK, and this is some other things about me that I'm not going to go through. But because I still love that in-person world. But I will tell you why you should care about this picture here. This picture had me at Microsoft headquarters in Seattle, one of my clients. And I have to tell you, I would not have gotten on that stage, guys, if it wasn't for Zoom. Can I tell you why? Well, have you ever gotten an email in your inbox that said, hey, I want to do business with you? Well, Microsoft sent me an email similar to that saying, hey, we want you to come and do a breakout session for our internal conference. Now, how would you have responded to that? Can you put in the chat room? How would you have responded to that? Would you have said, and when I ask this question, what I hear over and over again is, I would have just replied with, yes, this is how much I charge and tell me the dates and you're done. That's not what I did, guys. Guess what I did instead? And I want to take you, and this is where I want to take you. I'm going to come back to these because I never know where I'm going to go. This is what I do instead. And I'm moving a little, I want to go kind of here. I'm going to come back to all of that. So don't worry. This is what I did instead, guys. I instead sent them a meeting. Like I said, thank you so much. Yeah, Wanda said I would have said yes. Wanda says I would have said when. Valerie J says I would have thought it was a scam. Well, Valerie, the lady mentioned the conference she had heard me speak at. So if the person mentions previous work, that's when you know that it's a real deal. So anyway, what I did instead is I said, thank you so much, Sarah, for remembering me. I would absolutely love to serve your group, but I really want to learn more about it so I can see the best way that I can really make this work for you. So can we meet on Zoom? Now, can I tell you something? This was over 2 years ago when this happened. So Zoom wasn't an everyday name. It wasn't popular. And if you know anything about big companies like that, they have firewalls. So they're not quite used to Zoom world. But I am persistent. So I said, hey, just do this. So I sent her a link. This is something you can do with Zoom. If you have a paid Zoom account, put in the chat room what kind of Zoom account you have. If you have a paid Zoom account, this is a must, y'all. You can't be on Zoom for free and accomplish what I'm talking about, okay? So you have to have a paid Zoom account, and I'm going to get into the different types of accounts. With every paid Zoom account, you're given a customized link, right? And that customized link, you're able to redirect and then create your own domain name if you choose. So whether this through GoDaddy or Hostmonster or one-in-one, it doesn't matter. So just go with me. You have your own customized link. So it's usually like zoom.us / and a bunch of letters. You guys are familiar with it, right? Well, you can grab that link and you can redirect it like you would do with anything else. So I decided, you know what? I'm not going to remember that link. When someone says they want to meet in my Zoom room, I got to remember to send the link. That's too much work. I need to make this easier and effective and productive. So I created zoomqueenroom.com. So I had her meet me here, right? She came on. She says, all right, Marquessa, I'll meet you in your Zoom. I don't know what this is, but I'll be there. Again, it's about first impression. Am I right? So I had her come on. She was in a waiting room for a minute. Zoom does have a waiting room. And in the waiting room, you can put a personalized message. You can. And starting in the first quarter of next year, there will be a place for you to put a video. That's what I'm talking about it. And in addition to, you know what else I do? Just in case I'm running late, one thing when I'm in a waiting room, I like something to read. I like a resource. So you can also put a link, not a clickable link, but you can put a link, not yet. Okay, but you can put a link in your Zoom waiting room. So what I do is I'll put something like, I'm so happy to have you here. I can't wait to reinvent your business. If you want to download one of my resources, here you go. Go to zoomqueen.com to download blah, blah, blah. That's what I put in my waiting room. So she's sitting out there going, this is amazing. And between you and me, in case I was running late, it's a good thing. Here's another thing. In case, has you ever had an appointment that ran over? Like somebody who couldn't stop talking? Yeah. Well, the beautiful thing is if I'm in a session and let's say she shows up early, people show up early all the time. And I see, and Zoom lets me know if someone is in my waiting room. All I got to do is go to the chat section. And Zoom just about, I say 2 months ago, made it able for us to chat people in the waiting room. So I can literally say, Sarah, I see that you're there. Make sure you grab that resource and I'll be with you soon. So she was already, the family case said I'm a talker. So she was already blown away. Then I bring her into the meeting. right? I make sure I spotlight her so she's there front and center. I give her recording privileges, as I said earlier, and then I start to talk to her and ask her questions about her event, what made her think of me, what's her overall goal, who are the decision makers, the normal questions. Then I map out everything. Okay, I kind of made this small, but let me see if I can zoom out a little bit or zoom in. No, it's not letting me zoom in. But anyway, you can see this is a mind map. I love mind mapping. You can either use the Zoom whiteboard to make this happen, or you can use your own mind mapping software. So I would literally mind map out everything she needed in front of her. Because I don't know about y'all, I can't take notes. I can't talk and listen and take notes at the same time. So instead, I mind map because I'm able to create legs based on all the points that are coming up. That's how I do it. And I make sure I share my screen. So she's being blown away. Then the second time we met, because it took a couple of meetings, she brought a few people per my request because I want to know all the decision makers. And I put them in different breakout rooms with my team to really get down and dirty with what they needed. Well, so sharing your screen. And here's another thing I did, y'all. I transcribed everything because there's going to be something she shares that I am going to miss. Have you ever been in a meeting? You're like, oh my gosh, they said something, but I don't remember what it was. But you've got to write the proposal. I don't have to worry about that because Zoom, not only will they do a written transcription, they do a video transcription. Did you hear me? The video is to the left, the written is to the right. So as the person speaks, the letters show up. And then there's a little pencil that I can click in on my Zoom back end, right? To change a word that's incorrect, because they love to misspell my name, right? I can also download just the written part of the transcript. Bottom line, the transcription has saved my life. And before Zoom got this, I paid my team about an additional $150 a month just to transcribe for me. Now Zoom has taken it over, and now that money goes somewhere else. You got me? So this is the power of it. So I did all of this for this meeting, guys. And then here's another thing I do. I don't do, because I just met with somebody else yesterday who wants me to do a big deal. I do not like to send something via email. I want to see how you receive it. This is my strategy. So what I'll tell them is I'm going to complete your proposal based on what we discussed, right? Then we're going to set a date right now. We're going to meet right back here in my Zoom room. I put all of that in the calendar link. Did you know this? If you use Google Calendar, there is an actual link that says where to meet. If you tie it to your Zoom account, it automatically comes up. So you never have to put anything in there if you don't want to. Anyway, put them in the calendar. We decided to meet. They came back in and I was able to do my proposal live. Okay. In between that time, I was able to follow up, send reminders, and Zoom did all of that for me. Okay. All I did was tie it in and Zoom followed up for me. This is what I'm talking about. And you may say, well, how did Zoom follow up for you, Marquessa? Follow up with you. Remember I said transcription. Remember I said audio recording. Remember I said video recording. Well, with most services, you got to download the MP4, the MP3, you got to upload it to YouTube or Vimeo, you get me. You don't have to do any of that with Zoom. It's one link. And Zoom will actually send me an email within 15 or 20 minutes. If it takes that long to process, depending on how long my meeting is, will send me an email to say, Marquessa, here is the shareable link. All I got to do is copy it, put it in an email, send it to Sarah, and it's gone. You hear me? And then if it's an event, Zoom will follow up directly for me. So that's what I'm talking about. So tell me, guys, what feature are you loving? What do you like that you hear? Talk to me and let me know what the deal is. So bottom line, all of this, guys, led to me getting on this stage because the end result was I didn't do a breakout, y'all. Instead, I did a keynote from the main stage with 5,000 employees. So this is just one of their divisions. 3 breakouts, one of the 3 being in front of their leadership. Let's just say that has been a wonderful and lucrative client. But it would not have happened if I didn't Zoom like a boss. And that's the piece I want you to get. So let me give you a clinical definition I created of Zooming like a boss. It means leveraging the Zoom platform in your business resulted in smart meetings. Was that a smart meeting? Just tell me now. Was that a smart meeting? Stellar presentations, more business, leverage time and energy. You hear me? Thank you. Pamela says, I'm loving all of this. You've broadened my perception of Zoom. I didn't know any of this. Yeah, that's my goal. I want to make sure that I do this. Martha says, yes, yes. Okay, so one other thing I want to share with you guys. I am a Zoom administrator. To be clear, I am not employed by Zoom. I have my own business. But I was such a fan of Zoom and realized that it was such a, honey, I put it this way. I became popular using Zoom without even trying, because in my mind, I thought all my colleagues use Zoom the same way. I had no idea of what people didn't do. And I learned that in my professional speaking circles and some of the other circles that I'm in, which is how I became Zoom queen. I didn't just wake up one morning and go, you Zoom queen. They literally said, girl, we're going to name you Zoom queen. So that's how that happened. Anyway, a little bit after the pandemic, you could imagine my phone, my email, I got tagged like it was nobody's business. And that's when I made a decision to become a Zoom administrator. What that means is I have the highest level of Zoom license under me, and it's called Zoom Enterprise. So there are certain things, certain benefits of this license that you cannot do with Zoom Basic or Zoom Pro. So I want to make that very, very clear. So a lot of it, like the waiting room, you can do that with Zoom Pro. Now, Zoom Basic is free, guys. You can't really do a whole lot with the free account. So I'm really speaking to the people that are saying, listen, I want to up level on Zoom and I want to stay focused on this platform and I want to leverage it from A to Z. Those are the people that I'm talking to right now, because this is how deep Zoom goes. So if you're like Marquessa, I want to be in first class of Zoom without paying the first class price, then it's Zoom Enterprise. Okay, so Zoom Enterprise is the highest level of Zoom. Now, if you go to zoom.us yourself, you will see something similar. You will see the Zoom Pro, where you get 100 participants, 1 gigabyte of cloud storage, and unlimited meetings, right? With Enterprise, let me say that, with Zoom Enterprise, you get 500 participants, which you may say, I don't know no 500 people. You never know how you can assist your client. Your client, Wanda, may say, I have a group of almost 500, but I don't have a way to get them on Zoom. I got you, client, because I got a license. So you're able to use it for them if you can't use it for yourself. You have unlimited cloud storage. So remember I said I do all my Zoom meetings on certain days. So I have client meetings. I have coaching sessions on Thursdays, client meetings on Mondays, blah, blah, blah. Well, when I do that, guys, my cloud storage is building up. And let me tell you, before Zoom even offered cloud storage, the recordings were so high def that they sort of ripped up my hard drive. And I have a Mac. They were just killing my space. So the beautiful thing is Zoom recordings do not touch my hard drive. They stay in the cloud and they become a library. So I can go in and label each and every recording. All right. So unlimited cloud storage is everything, because literally after 2 sessions, I'm at 1 gigabyte of cloud storage. Here is unlimited. And I like a recording of full camera, gallery, which means lots of faces, shared screen, which means PowerPoint. I want to share it all. Okay. And I like options, and I also want it transcribed, and all of that ends up in your cloud storage, but you don't have to worry about how big that is. So if you literally get all those recordings for 1 minute, it's well over a gigabyte. So you get unlimited cloud storage, you get Zoom meeting and Zoom webinar, 2 different things. Major benefits. The quick and dirty of Zoom webinar is, this is a situation when you want to stage, you don't necessarily see the participants, right? This is, for example, one of my clients, they wanted a ceremony. They had 167 nominees. Well, we did the pre-party on Zoom meeting. That way we could see everyone. We could talk to everyone. I brought on my red carpet correspondent. We had a celebrity bartender. It was awesome. We were like rocking. We had a DJ. It was cool. We wanted to see everyone, and everyone was in their watch parties. Does that make sense? But guess what, though? Guess what? for the actual ceremony, which was, first class. Normally, if they did this in person pre-pandemic, people wore tuxedos and ball gowns. Okay. So they were like, we're not going to do it this year until they met Zoom Queen. I said, yes, you will. And I'm going to show you how. So we put all of this on Zoom webinar, and their sponsors would sort of give the award. So I was the MC, and that I would bring on the sponsors. And guys, it was first class all the way. So we didn't need to see 500 faces to give out awards. You know how exhausting that would have been. And then of the 500 faces, one person would have 7 people at their location. You get the point. So that's when Zoom Webinar came in. So Zoom Webinar is cool because it has a lot of things that Zoom Meeting does not have. And then you got transcription, and then a dedicated support comes from me. And then if I can't answer it, it goes through Zoom. And then you get over $1,000 worth of training from me. So this is what the enterprise license is. You guys don't have to buy it. My goal was to help you Zoom to income, but I wanted you to know that that is a resource. So if you want to find it, you can go to zoomqueen.com. It's right there. I do have some licenses left. It is $30 a month, and it is paid annually. So come on in and check it out and let me know what you want to do. Thank you, Pamela. That was my goal. That was my goal, to make it a doable price. Now, if you're thinking, wait a minute, Marquesa, what if I just want to add this stuff on? If you got Zoom webinar, Zoom meeting for $15, and then you turn around and add it on webinar, then you're looking at $55 a month. So you can pay Zoom all that money, or you can decide, nope, I want the highest level account. Now you may also say, can I get this by myself? Why do I need to go under you? Well, if you go to zoom.us and you look at the pricing and plans, if you try to get this yourself, it's going to require you to invest in 100 licenses, which is what I've done. I've invested in 200 licenses. So that's why. So you get to hang out with me quite a bit. So I wanted to give you that resource, but transcription, but waiting room, guys, that's with any paid account. The cloud storage is only with Zoom Enterprise. So it just depends on which ones you want to do. It's a game changer, guys. As I said to you before, if you want to close business on this thing, you want to go from Zoom to income, this is where Zoom takes you. All of these pieces. You see this slide? It takes you all of these pieces. Now, guys, I kind of moved around, but I'm at the end of my presentations. Any quick questions, because I'm supposed to keep you on here for 45 minutes and I done gone a little bit over. Sherry O says, Marquesa, if we already have an account, can we change to yours? Absolutely. All I'm doing is upgrading your account from either free, basic, or pro, and I'm moving it under enterprise. So you're good. Long as we have the same email address that you log in with your current Zoom account, I can take you from pretty much coach to first class. So that's all that is. So absolutely great question, Sherry. So this is, again, more than a meetings platform, guys. It's a game changer. I got a gift for you for hanging on. I got a gift. Who wants to know? Put it in the chat room if you want to know my gift. Come on, let me know if you want my gift, because I got to get out of here. Anybody want a gift? I don't know if anybody want a gift. Do you want a gift? How do you reach me after the meeting? I do have a slide. You can go to team. I'll put that in the chat room. You can go to team at MLP Speak. Oops. And I do look at this, and so does my team. MLPspeak.com. You go right there. And don't forget, guys, go to zoomqueen.com. And if you do have a problem, I have a lot of international people, and they'll say sometimes that domain doesn't work. And you can just go to zoomlikeaboss.com. You just see more resources like this free gift I'm going to give you on zoomqueen.com, or you actually see it at Zoom Like a Boss as well. Anyway, here's the free gift. One of the things I love about Zoom, guys, is I can create whatever background I want. Now, this is my natural background here because I'm on a platform right now where a virtual background wouldn't work. So that's why I have this. But if I'm on Zoom, usually I'll have on my virtual background. A lot of people fear the virtual background because it looks very amateurish if you don't use it right. You got that alien effect. You guys know what I'm talking about, right? Well, the good news is I have mastered the Zoom background. I tell you exactly the equipment to get, everything. So literally, if you go to zoomqueen.com, there is a resource there that says download my free ebook. I tell you the equipment to get, and I tell you everything you need to have a perfect thing, so you don't have to buy a thing from me. My goal here was to help you zoom to income. So if I can serve you and I can help you go to that next level in Zoom world, guys, I'm here. My name is Marquessa Patway, and they call me Zoom Queen. Bye, guys. Thank you so much for coming. Until we meet again, don't forget to go to zoomqueen.com, guys. If you have any questions, let me know, and I look forward to serving you. Bye.
Thank you so much for that informative presentation. We really enjoyed it. As a reminder, this webinar was recorded and will be available on demand within 24 hours on smallbusinessuniversity.online. Again, I want to extend a very special thank you to our sponsor, AT&T Business. Please remember to frequently check out our webinar schedule on smallbusinessuniversity.online for other great weekly business building webinars. Thank you all for joining us, and have a great rest of your day.